ya que... Hey Floyd, antes que nada, te respeto como persona, pero basta. Creo que eso no es lo justo. Lo justo es que Ryan pelee conmigo. No le implementes miedo, al contrario, implementale confianza. ¿Ok? ¿Quieres que sea una pelea de bastones ya que ya estemos de salida ambos? La gente quiere ver esta pelea ahora, no después, como tú lo hiciste con mi promotor. Una verdadera leyenda, un campeón en 8 divisiones, como lo es Manny Pacquiao. Vamos, anima a Ryan a que peleara conmigo. Es el momento adecuado que el fan quiere ver esta pelea.
Isa Pitbull Cruz. He sends a very direct message to easy work. I ain't got to worry about it. Floyd, Money, Mayweather. Hard work, dedication. He said he wants to fight Ryan Garcia, and he implores Floyd Mayweather not to get in the way of that. He wants to fight Ryan Garcia. He says the time is now. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Right now, I'm on Isa Pitbull Cruz's page. You heard what you heard. Isa Pitbull Cruz is calling out Ryan Garcia. He said he wants to make that a reality sooner than later. And he sent a direct message to Floyd. Now, he did start off with some cordiality. Like he said, Floyd Mayweather, first things first, I do respect you as a fighter. And, you know, basically I respect what you've done. But this is now basically saying now is not the time for Ryan Garcia to avoid me. You know what I mean? And he said, do like my promoter. And in case you guys didn't know, Isa Pitbull Cruz is promoted by the legend from the Philippines, General Santos, Manny Pacquiao. I believe Pitbull, he's going to bite me. The legendary Manny Pacquiao, Senator Pacquiao, is his current promotional team. Sean Gibbons and MP Promotions, Manny Pacquiao Promotions. So he wants to fight against Ryan Garcia. Now, I see somebody put this, so what better segue after seeing this GIF? What better segue to talk about Gervonta Davis? So basically, I read that there's a new interview from Pitbull Cruz where Isa Pitbull Cruz, he says he's not waiting around for Gervonta Davis. And there's a picture of Manny Pacquiao and Pitbull Cruz. So he's saying he's not going to wait. He's tired of waiting. So seemingly there might be some differences of opinions because Calvin Ford, who is the trainer of Gervonta Davis, Calvin Ford, I remember seeing an interview not too long ago, late last year, where Calvin Ford, he said that he rather likes the idea of his fighter Gervonta Davis fighting Pitbull Cruz in a rematch. But then I do remember seeing Gervonta Davis, I believe he said that he really wasn't into the Pitbull Cruz fight. He had already beat him. That's like yesterday's news. That's old news. So he didn't really see the value in fighting against Pitbull Cruz. He didn't understand why that would be a thing. So I don't know what's going on there. Calvin Ford wants this. Gervonta Davis is like, I already been there, done that. I beat him with one hand. And Pitbull Cruz's last fight, he fought Cabrera, I believe. It was kind of a slow-paced fight. So I don't know if Pitbull's stock right there demands or calls for a Gervonta Davis fight. Even though, me personally, I don't have a problem with Gervonta Davis fighting Pitbull Cruz in a rematch because of the fans. And don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself. Get mad at, yes, you at home. Don't be mad at me. Boxing Ego, the realest, West Side. Be mad at yourself. The reason why is when this is what happens with black fighters oftentimes in the world of boxing. You have black fighters and some of them are the most hated, especially the PBC ones. The most hated, people hate, and you've seen it with Floyd Mayweather. And you have a black fighter primarily when they fight a non-black fighter like Pitbull Cruz. And what happens if the fight is close, they say the black fighter was beaten up or the black fighter got destroyed and lost when it's a controversial, allegedly controversial ending. Jermell Charlo, think Jermell Charlo Castano won. Think Andre Ward Kovalev won. Think Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, oh my God, to this day, versus Tyson Fury Part 1. Think Gervonta Davis versus Pitbull Cruz. You notice the common denominator. All of those fights showcased a African-American black fighter from America, American black fighter, and they fought non-black contemporaries. And each time out in a close fight, people said, oh, the black fighter got destroyed. Andre Ward really lost to Kovalev. Jermell Charlo got his butt kicked by Castano. And they scream robbery. And the thing with the robbery is, how is it a robbery when it's truly a close fight? People have these phrases in boxing where they frequently throw them out, like cherry picking and robbery. And it's really not a cherry pick. It's really not a robbery. Close fights aren't generally robberies, right? When the fight could have went either way. You can make an argument of, hey, I know how to score boxing. I thought this guy won, or I thought this guy won. But to say it's a robbery like Ward Kovalev, I don't know. I don't even understand it. It wasn't a robbery. It was a close fight. I was at both of those fights. I covered both of those fights live, and I had a great viewing angle, and it is what it is. So people oftentimes throw these out. Floyd Mayweather, think Floyd Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana. People scream this was a robbery, just like Gervonta Davis versus Pitbull Cruz. These aren't robberies. Maybe a fighter was tested like Jermell Charlo versus Castano. Maybe the fighter's tested like Ward getting dropped by Kovalev. Doesn't automatically make it a robbery. And I thought Gervonta Davis convincingly beat Aesop Pitbull Cruz. But the reason why I'm blaming you, yes, you, the fans, you at home, is because despite what I think, I know there's a contingent of fans who said that Gervonta Davis really got beat up by Aesop Cruz and he was scared of rematching him. Because remember, I think they asked Gervonta Davis post-fight, they said, would you rematch Pitbull Cruz? And I think he said something like, no. And I don't know if he was just being funny or whatever, but people use that and they try to use it against Gervonta Davis to say he was ducking Pitbull Cruz. So if the fight does happen for a second time, I ain't mad at it. If it doesn't, I ain't mad at that either. But just know, if it does happen again, it's your fault. Not me, but you. It is your fault, because just like Mayweather Maidana won, you have people who were screaming for a rematch and saying that said fighter, said Hispanic fighter in both of those examples, were ducking a rematch and were beat up in the first fight. So if they robbed the bank twice, that's on you. Now, before I finish this video, make sure you stay tuned to the end so I can talk more about Ryan Garcia, Pitbull Cruz. Now a word from a sponsor on the channel. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work. And we're back. So Ryan Garcia, he just knocked out Oscar Duarte. It's a great fight. Him and Pitbull Cruz, I do think that is a great fight. Ryan Garcia back with the win in the win column. They both lost to Gervonta Davis. And that's another thing. I'm not gonna stop making these points. How come when you look at Pitbull versus Ryan, some people want to see the fight. Pitbull's calling out the fight. Both guys lost to Gervonta Davis. You look at Ryan Garcia, who he may fight, and there's been a big hoopla. Even Floyd Mayweather posted. I made a video about it. Check that on the channel. Subscribe to the best in the business, and it's not even close. For all your boxing news, I made a video about all these things. They're talking about Ryan and Rolly could fight. Notice all three of those people who, if you mix and match them with each other, these are all great fights. Ryan and Rolly for a belt at 140, it's a great fight. Ryan versus Pitbull Cruz, it would be a great fight. Even Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz, that would be a great fight. But the funny thing is, you have old media and they say Gervonta Davis, he needs to step up his resume. He needs to fight someone. All three of those opponents, what is one thing they have in common? Because they're not all from the same place. They're not all the same height. They don't all fight the same. The common denominator is All three fighters are on Gervonta Davis's resume, and 2 of the 3 were knocked out by Gervonta Davis. So it's funny to see the haters constantly bemoan, itch, and complain about Tank's resume, but then when Tank's resume wants to fight each other, then the boxing world views these all as amazing and great fights. I find that very hilarious. Now, for me, I'm a fan of boxing. I like Pitbull Cruz. He's not the most defensive guy, but I don't mind fighters like that. You know what you're getting from a Pitbull Cruz fight. And he has a style where if you can't tame that, then it makes for an action fight. So he seldom, his last fight wasn't the most entertaining, but he's seldom in a bad fight that's just unwatchable. So yes, him versus Ryan Garcia would be a good fight. Me personally, I do prefer the Rolly fight, and I understand Pitbull Cruz, he wants a big name and that. I wanted to see the Pitbull Cruz Ryan fight probably a little bit more a few years ago, but off of Pitbull's last performance, and given the fact that he's short and he's at 135, Ryan has moved up to 140. Rolly's a champion at 140. Boom. You see that? Rolly's a champion with some controversy versus Barroso. Ryan just moved up to 140. You see how that aligns? Boom. You never know. Boom. So for me, Ryan and Rolly next, like Floyd was saying, makes a lot more sense than Pitbull Cruz, because he's at the lighter division. He's not a champion. Why would Ryan Garcia forego a belt opportunity and a grudge match against a guy who he had this infamous sparring with, like Rolly Romero? Why would he bypass that to fight Pitbull Cruz? However, if, like the Devin Haney fight, Ryan versus Rolly is to not happen next, then I would start considering other people, which you have to, like Pitbull Cruz. That's my thoughts. For more of my thoughts and boxing coverage, subscribe to the channel. The best in the business, and it's not even close. Salute to all of y'all. You dig?